Yo yo yo, this is Sol, also known as SPL Gum, also known Spatial Gum, also known as Grunt, your Team Skull Grunt, and this is Pokemon Masters EX. Guys, this is part 2 of my datamine series. Part 1 is the gem count video. If you have not yet seen the gem count video, link will be in the description where I talk about how many gems we can get for the September second half update. And thank you, by the way, guys, for showering that video with lots and lots of love once again. Thank you so much for your support. I know the audio quality of that video has not been that great, but this time I made sure that this video would be tip-top shape. So yeah, tip-top shape video. And you know what, this video is a little bit, I mean, there are only 3 sync pairs coming out this month, or this update, but it was a little bit challenging to do this video. So yeah, as usual, these were done with a lot of effort and time. And if you have not yet seen, if you're interested in seeing the behind the scenes on how I worked on the screenshots, status screens, and whatsoever, check out my behind the scenes. I will put the link in the description down below. And once again, I would like to thank Absol-utely and the other data miners for all these info, because without them, this would not be possible. I would also like to extend a huge shout out to my members. Thank you, Shadowphil. There was one new member yesterday. Thank you so much, Marcella, Mortis Gaming, Aryan Singh, Plays, John9019, Poplio Gaming, Roy Ackerman, Luca Midi Armakose, Popwhat Visual. Oh, and I forgot about Nick. Thank you so much for your support, guys. So if you want to help out in this channel, support me financially, help me make better videos or something, you can click on the join button down below and become a member of my channel for as low as $1 a month. And without further ado, guys, hit the thumbs up right now, subscribe if you haven't, and let us begin with this presentation. So there's 3 sync pairs coming, or rather 2 new sync pairs and 1 sync pair returning to Sync Pair Scout. The first one is Red, who is finally out, coming on September 16. That is later if you're watching this premiere date, until October 29. Blue Classic, or Classic Blue, is coming out 2 days after Red on September 18. And by the way, if you're new, these are Asia times, or Eastern times. If you're on the West, probably this will come out on 15 evening or something. And the last one to return or to come out is Marnie, who's coming out 3 days after Blue on September 21 and ends on October 4. Now, Red and Blue have more than 1 month here with us. So a little reminder that next month will be October, and on October we have fall seasonals. So normally expected, I guess, that we would have new seasonals next month. I assume one of them will be a ghost type, because we will be having a ghost type gear event coming up soon. I'm assuming also Alistair will come out. Alistair is most likely gonna be ghost type. And yeah, Pokemon of Alistair is supposed to be ghost type. And Alistair has been announced indirectly through the video or trailer of Pokemon Masters. So we're expecting Alistair to come out really soon. And I'm expecting 2 fall seasonals coming next month as well. And by the way, guys, if you're new to my Who to Scout for videos, this is basically, I discuss every sync pair's stats kits. So their attacks, their stats, their sync grid. And then on part 2, I discuss and compare them with other sync pairs and see how they fare, how well they do, and whatsoever, and give out my opinion after that. So strap on your seatbelts, get ready for another lesson, because we are gonna begin with Red. Red and Snorlax. Finally, this sync pair comes out. Signasuit Red or Red was a weird case. We got the Signasuit first before the original version. This is the only sync pair that we have in the game that has something like this. If you see the screen, Pallet Town, together with 9 exclamation points and an exclamation... 9 periods, 9 dots, and an exclamation point. And an exclamation point. What the heck is... Congratulate yourself, you got Red and Snorlax. And if you see, this is what their sync move looks like. So there you go. Quite similar to the sync move of... No, this is not exactly the sync move. This is max move. This is max G-Max Replenish. I don't know what Max Knuckle looks like, but I'm assuming... Poor Lucario. Come on. Justice for Lucario, guys. Justice for Lucario. I'm expecting Heaviest Sleeper Normal Impact to be completely ugly and uninspired. But I think that's G-Max Replenish, which allows you to recover 1 MP of, you know, all their trainer moves. All his trainer moves recover 1 MP. So it has 2 trainer moves, 1 mini potion all, which is basically half potion, because half potion you normally recover 40% HP. Mini potion all, you recover only 20% HP, but you recover everyone. And there's another sync pair that actually has something similar to this. That is Holiday Erica with Lay Up. I checked earlier, and Lay Up actually recovers 40% HP as well. 40%. So Mini Potion all recovers a little less HP, or half the amount of recovery done by Lay Up. But you get 2 MP, and Lay Up is only like 1 MP. So you have 2 MP, recover everyone by 20% max HP. And then if you use G-Max Replenish, you get 1 MP back, and you can use that again. You can use Mini Potion all again on everyone. Then there's You and Me, which reduces a sync move countdown by 1, raises the critical hit rate of another sync pair by 2, and applies the super effective plus next effect to an ally. Now this last bit, applies the super effective plus next effect to an ally, is a very big deal. Is a very, very big deal. Basically, you're giving another sync pair who's unable to get this buff on their own an additional 50% damage multiplier. And if you're curious as to why I'm emphasizing on this, stay tuned until the end of the video, because this is a really, really big deal, and I wanna discuss that even further later on. And, you know, there's the sync move countdown reduction, which we do not have a lot of sync pairs that can do this for other sync pairs. So normally we have a couple of sync pairs that can reduce their own sync move countdown, or with their own trainer move. For example, we have Signasuit Elessa, can reduce her countdown. We have, I think, Signasuit Leaf can also reduce the countdown, like Mega Healing. We have Lysander, who can also reduce his countdown, and stuff that can reduce his countdown. But for a trainer move to be able to affect another sync pair and reduce the countdown, we only have, if I'm not mistaken, Elessa with Breathtaking, or Signasuit Elessa with Breathtaking. And Breathtaking has only 1 MP, although there's a chance for MP refresh. But this one too, this one can also do an MP refresh aside from G-Max Replenish, giving you 1 MP back for You and Me. So you can actually use You and Me, reduce your countdown by 1, use another 1, reduce your sync move countdown by 1, use G-Max Replenish, restore 1 MP for You and Me, and, you know, just reduce your sync move countdown by 1 once again. And if you're lucky enough to get an MP refresh, which I'll get to that later on, you basically can reduce your sync move countdown quite unlimited number of times. This is not to forget about the critical hit rate increase as well as the super effective plus effect next, which I want to discuss again later. Now, there's Body Slam, 30% chance of leaving the target paralyzed 2 move gauge. We have Rock Smash, 50% chance of lowering the opponent's defense by 1 stat rank. 2 move gauge as well, meaning Red will be able to attack the opponents constantly without waiting for the move gauge to fill up. His stats are not too bad, very high, quite high special defense at 281. By the way, these are level 135 stats and not level 140 stats. Defense is not too bad as well, 261, but they're nothing compared to Signasuit Blue's defenses, guys. So, Signasuit Blue can raise defense, special defense. This guy can too, but not at the level of Signasuit Blue. So, don't expect Red to be as good as Signasuit Blue in terms of tanking. He's good at support, but he's not bad at tanking, but he's not that awesome in terms of these stats. But I think he's a mixed striker, tanker, and a tech unit because Body Slam can leave the target paralyzed, Rock Smash can lower the opponent's defenses, and then Max Knuckle, if you decide to use that instead, raises everyone's attack stat by 2. And then there's Heaviest Sleeper Normal Impact, which I'm expecting to be horrible, bad, ugly, uninspired. He has, on his passive skills... Oh, by the way, this is what the max moves look like. So basically, Body Slam becomes G-Max Replenish, and Max Knuckle becomes, or rather, Rock Smash becomes Max Knuckle. And by the way, you can only use one of these moves. Just one, guys, per battle. I'm not sure. I think you guys said that you can only use like one max move per battle. So if you have Signasuit Leon and Red together in the same team, you have to decide if you want to use Red or Signasuit Leon for the max move. So it's your choice. And then for the passive skills, we have Max Regen, applies the gradual healing effect to the user after using its max move. So basically, Red gets regen. We have Team Alert Mind 1, which if Red's HP goes to half, everyone's defense will go up +1. Now, I am curious how this works. Does this mean that if your HP goes down to half from, for example, 51% HP goes down to 50%, or rather 49%, everyone's defense goes up by 1? Does this mean that if you use Mini Potion All, recover your HP back to like higher than 50%, then the opponent attacks you and brings your HP back to 50% or lower? Does everyone increase their defenses by 1 again? And you use another Mini Potion All, and the same thing happens until, you know, your defense goes up to +3 or even higher for everyone? I'm not sure. If that's the case, Red is great at defenses. That would be so good. And then group moral support. When Red uses a trainer move, take note, trainer move, not attack. So it's not Body Slam, it's not Rock Smash, it's Mini Potion All, and it's you and me. Has a 50% chance of raising everyone's special defense by 1. So this is similar to Signasuit Blue's Force Field, but the difference is that you have to use a trainer move instead of a Pokemon attack in order to have a chance of raising everyone's special defenses. Which is not bad because you can have a minimum, I guess, if you use your max move properly. You can have a maximum of 6 or a minimum of 6 tries. 3 tries on Mini Potion All, 3 tries on you and me, that is excluding any MP refreshes that can happen. So 6 times of 50% chance of increasing special defense for all allied sync pairs, which is not bad. Now, G-Max Replenish and Max Knuckle, I think, have 400 base power, if I'm not mistaken. And with that amount of power, you might want to give Critical Strike 2 on this guy. But he's a support unit, and normally I would advise giving Vigilance for support units. You know, just in case you get hit by a critical and then your HP just goes down. And that sucks if you get hit by a critical and just lose the battle. So I would advise you guys to go for Vigilance if you are talking about support units. And that's it. His HP is not that bad as well. His attack stats, special attack, you don't exactly need special attack. So yeah, Red and Snorlax comes September 16, that's later, and ends more than 1 month after. So yeah. Is he a good unit? I will emphasize later, but I think he is great, especially because of his sync grid. At 1 out of 5, that means just by getting 1 copy of Red, you gain access to the best thing about him, which is You and Me MP Refresh. You and Me, the best thing about You and Me is not the sync move countdown, in my opinion. It's the super effective plus next. You are basically giving any sync pair a chance to hit harder. Much harder than normal. And we have the super effective plus next before. In terms of some strikers, some other units. But what about the sync pairs that do not have super effective plus next? For example, N. I think N can have the super effective plus next if you do not have a sync buff. You use his trainer move. He will have super effective plus next. Normally, I time this and use, for example, a 6-star EXN. Before he uses a sync move, I will make sure he has super effective plus next and then hit the enemy using a sync move. And if they're weak to electric type attacks, that move will just deal massive damage. But now, units like Elessa, who does not have super effective plus next, she has inertia. Give her this super effective plus next. And then, you know, if you have her 6-star EX, I don't know the numbers, but you might actually be able to land more damage than N this time. N is usually called the strongest electric type striker, but with You and Me, you are basically giving Red the chance to make other sync pairs shine when they could not shine on their own. It's very true to the name of the trainer move. It's You and Me, I power you up. He is a nice support unit. Basically, him alone is not great, but him powering up other sync pairs is a completely different story. Now, I think I read this somewhere. I think someone posted this somewhere. This is basically Leon was once called the supreme fire type striker. You know, burn synergy, or I think I forgot what the trainer, what the multiplier was called. If the opponent is burned, you get to deal more damage with the sync move. He also gets super effective plus next. But if you give this super effective plus next to units like, for example, Serena, who already has like her multipliers but does not have super effective plus next, if you give this super effective plus next to... Does Reshiram have super effective plus next? Maybe not. I think you can give this to Reshiram. If you give this to Hilda, she will have super effective plus next and will be able to hit harder, much harder than normal. There are lots of other unit sync pairs, but I guess this is most important and most evident in 6-star EX strikers who do not have the super effective plus next effect. I think this would also be devastatingly powerful if you have Alder in your team. If the opponent is weak to bug, you know, with the number of multipliers that Alder has, give super effective plus next to Alder before he uses a sync move. And oh my gosh, you might be able to land 99999 damage without even making too much effort. There are sync pairs that already land almost close there to 999 without much effort. I think one of them is Champion Iris. Champion Iris, I do not think have super effective plus next. If you give this to her, my gosh, you might be able to get this done easily, very easily. Super effective plus next, guys. And again, at 1 out of 5, just by getting one copy of red, you have a chance of giving him this MP refresh. And once again, MP refresh, by refreshing the MP of your trainer moves, you get group moral support 4, which basically again has a 50% chance of raising everyone's special defense if you use a trainer move. I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna focus on that later on again. At 2 out of 5, you get Antitoxin, Body Slam, Hostile Environment 1, Max Group Therapy, which basically similar to Brock and a couple of sync pairs. After you use a max move, everyone's status conditions gone. Quick Cure cures you of any trap, flinching, or confused conditions. On Rock Smash on a roll, chance of lowering defense of the opponent higher. 3 out of 5, you get Adrenaline 1, reduces the sync move countdown by 1 after you use your first sync move. Flag Bearer 3, if you use a move, okay, this is now not a trainer move, but a move like Body Slam and Rock Smash, you have a 40% chance of raising everyone's attack stat by 1, which is good. Max Shielding Strikes 2 raises your defense by 2 if after you use a max move. That is either Max Knuckle or Gmax Replenish. You can raise your defense by 2 stat ranks if you use or if you have Max Shielding Strikes 2. And then there's Mini Potion All, MP Refresh 2, and Mini Potion All Master Healer 1, which basically increases the amount of HP you restore with Max or Mini Potion All. Safety Net is a very, very nice thing as well. Basically gives red Signasuit Blue powers, gives everyone an Endure effect after you use a sync move. And after that, just powering up his Gmax Replenish and Max Knuckle, and Heavy Sleeper, Normal Impact, his sync move. So, if you make him 6-star EX, take note that you will not be able to hit everyone. You will only be able to hit one opponent, but you will be able to have a double sync buff if you are 6-star EX. And personally, there's no point in using, you know, you and me on red itself, because you can increase your critical hit rate, that's no problem. You can you know, reduce your sync move countdown, but take note that there's no such thing as super effective plus next for his sync, or for his sync move, guys, for his sync move, because his sync move is a normal type attack and no sync pair is weak to normal type attacks. If you want to use it on him, I suggest using you and me and then using his Max Knuckle or Rock Smash, because there are opponents that are weak to fighting, but no opponents are weak to normal type attacks. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, guys. Okay, I'm done with red. I'm moving on to blue. Why is it red and Snorlax? Anyway, this is blue, blue classic, and Aerodactyl, and this is what his sync move looks like. What the heck is going on? Aerodactyl evolves to Mega Aerodactyl. And poor Lucario gets murdered again. So this is called, or the sync move is called No Competition Stone Edge. And if you see this screen, that means congratulations, you got blue or classic blue and Aerodactyl. This background though reminds me very much of Sabrina's background, so I'm probably gonna be confused when once I see this. Maybe I'll think that it's Sabrina's background, but hopefully blue actually comes out. Anyway, he has 3 different attacks. The third attack comes out once he Mega Evolves. So there's Hyper Beam and Ancient Power immediately. Hyper Beam is gonna be a rock type attack because of his passive skill Rock Shift. Ancient Power, on the other hand, has a 10% chance of raising your attack, defense, special defense, and speed by 1 stat rank. After he Mega Evolves, he gets access to Ancient Power, which replaces Dire Hit, or rather not Ancient Power, Double Edge, which replaces Dire Hit All Plus, which is a good thing because normally you only need to use like 2 Dire Hit All Plus. So use that on everyone, use that 2 times, maximize everyone's critical hit rate, and you know, once you Mega Evolve, you don't need Dire Hit Plus anymore. So it's replaced by Double Edge. And his passive skills Rock Shift converts normal type attacks to rock type attacks. Combo Freebie 2 is a good one. After you use an attack on the opponent that's either Hyper Beam, Ancient Power, or Double Edge, you have a 30% chance of getting that free move next effect, which basically grants you a free move without a move gauge. And then he has Endurance at the start of the battle. Enter a battle with full HP, that's probably most of the time, unless you start or you use him in Battle Villa, where you have your HP less if you're using him in consecutive battles, or if you have HP at 50%, that parameter for Champion Stadium, that is also might reduce, might not let Endurance work. But after you Mega Evolve, Endurance goes away, which is also perfect because you only need Endurance to happen at the start of the battle and gets replaced by Recoil Removal, which Double Edge deals 25 damage to you, 25% damage. With Recoil Removal, you do not get damage after using or every use of Double Edge. Double Edge is a very powerful attack. It's 3 move gauge. Hyper Beam is a little bit more powerful, but it's at 4 move gauge. And if you see his attacks, his stat goes from 327 to 392 after Mega Evolving. And his special attack goes up from 347 to 416 after Mega Evolving. So his attack and special attack is totally not bad at all. Not bad, and it's your choice whether to, you know, hit him harder with Hyper Beam or hit him faster with Double Edge. But we'll talk about his sync move and attack move multipliers once we get to the sync grid page. But for strikers like these, I would love to give him Critical Strike 2 to make him hit harder. There's Power Flux 5 or Power Flux 3 if you're unlucky with Critical Strike 2. I'd rather give Critical Strike 1, by the way, instead of Power Flux 3. Because critical hits or Critical Strike applies to the normal attack as well as the sync move, but Power Flux only applies to normal attacks. So keep that in mind, guys. And then, as you can see, his sync grid, there's Bonjour, MP Refresh 2. And by the way, I forgot to talk about Bonjour. Raises his attack and special attack by 3. Lowers the defense and special defense by 1. And if you have Mega Evolved, you will raise your speed by 3 stat ranks also. So attack and special attack +3, defense and special defense -1, and then has a chance of increasing your speed stat by 3 as well. So use 2 of these, your attack and special attack +6 maxed, your defense and special defense -2, and your speed probably max as well. As you can see over here, his sync grid, you have Bonjour MP Refresh 2. Honestly, I don't think this is necessary because just use 2 of that. You will have your stats max already. Dare Hit All MP Refresh 2 is also not important because why will you use the critical hit rate max is 3. You do not need to go 6 because there's no such thing. So just use 2 unless this is Battle Villa and you want a Dare Hit All plus MP Refresh. And then there's Sand Shelter 3 at 1 out of 5, which basically prevents you from getting hit in Sandstorm. Or prevents you from damage in a Sandstorm. At 2 out of 5, he gets Double Edge, super duper effective too. Which, if the opponent is weak to rock type attacks, this might actually be stronger than Hyper Beam. This will make your Double Edge hit around 20% harder. So this might be more powerful than Hyper Beam. So that's one of the reasons why you probably want to pick Double Edge instead of Hyper Beam after Mega Evolving. And then there's First Aid 4, which if you go down low on your HP, he gets to recover 40% of his HP, which is not bad. Sands of Time 2 quickly charges your move gauge when it is sandstorming, and then you get 2 Sync Nuke Tiles immediately at 2 out of 5. You get another 4 at 3 out of 5 after getting 3 copies of blue. You get Ancient Power Swag Bag 1, which people have been... Probably you guys look down on Ancient Power. Now, Ancient Power again can raise all 5 stats. Attack, special attack, defense, special defense, and speed. And with Swag Bag 1, you get to raise the stats. You get a higher chance of raising all those 5 stats after using Ancient Power. Critical Strike 1 is also unlocked at 3 out of 5. Basically, if your attack is a critical hit, it gets more powerful. He gets Haymaker. The higher his attack stat, the stronger his sync move becomes. He gets Head Start 1, reduces your sync move countdown upon entering the battle. Hyper Beam, 20% chance of reducing your sync move countdown. Sharp Entry raises critical hit rate. Soften Up, higher chance of landing critical hits using sync moves. And Surging Sand 1 powers up your sync move, or powers up your attacks when it is sandstorming. So a lot of multipliers in action here. We have Double Edge super effective, super duper effective 2, Critical Strike 1, and Surging Sand 1 for normal attacks. And for sync moves, we get Critical Strike 1 and Haymaker, which will make him more powerful. Now, this is where I wanna quickly insert Red. So, as you might see, he has 2 sync move multipliers. Imagine he is a 6-star EX Striker. Now, if he's 6-star EX Striker, his sync move will hit everyone. For example, you have 3 out of 5 blue, classic blue. Your attack stat is max. Haymaker will make your attacks really powerful. You have Critical Strike 2 on your lucky skill, which you suddenly land a critical attack. You get Critical Strike 2. For example, you give him Critical Strike 1 in his sync grid. That's 3 multipliers in action. Haymaker, Critical Strike 1, Critical Strike 2. And for example, let's just say you land 10,000 damage on everyone. 10,000 damage. If you have red, and you gave red, or you gave blue, that's super effective plus next, that will power up your sync move by 50%. 50%. That's 15,000 damage instead of 10,000 damage. So, yeah. If that's 20,000 damage, that will become 30,000 damage. So, that is what Red's purpose is. Like, to power up other sync pairs who does not have that super effective plus next, who has the potential to hit much harder if they have that super effective plus next. And by the way, this guy again has 6 sync nuke tiles. That means he will be able to hit much harder with his sync move after you give him these. But I'd rather you gave Haymaker, Critical Strike 1. Probably, for me, I'll probably give like First Aid 2 or Double Edge, super effective, super duper effective 2, and probably I'll be satisfied with that. Probably also Ancient Power Swag Bag 1, but we'll have to see. So these are the 2 sync pairs that have come out, and honestly, the 2 of them are very good in their own way. But I'll be discussing them more in depth. We still have 1 sync pair, and that is Marnie and Morpeko. Now, Marnie has already arrived in Sync Pair Scout before, and last time when I was gonna discuss about Marnie during her update, I kind of ran out of time. I said if I had another video, I'll probably be discussing her more in depth, but I never had that chance. So here we go with Marnie. Marnie has Power Trip. The higher your stats are, the stronger the damage of Power Trip. Which, this thing gets super strong if your stats are very high. Aura Wheel will increase your speed every single time you use it. And then Snack Time will raise your attack stat by 1. And depending on what amount your speed is, so for example, you have +3 speed already, will increase your attack stat by whatever your speed stat is. So initially +1 attack, then plus another 3 attack, making your attack +4 if you use Snack Time, if your speed stat is +3 already. And then if you are in full belly mode, which is this cute little yellow Morpeko, and he transforms, by the way. Every single time you attack, Thundershock, Aura Wheel, or Power Trip, he transforms into this cute one, into this purple, ugly? Scary? Not really ugly, but probably fierce one. And then as you can see over here, Aura Wheel transforms from electric type attack to dark type attack, and so on and so forth. If he's this yellow guy, full belly mode, your electric type attacks go more powerful. If he's this purple hangry mode, your dark type attacks get more powerful. So that means if you attack using Power Trip when you're in this form, you get an additional multiplier for Power Trip, making your Power Trip be able to land. You know, I've attacked the opponent using Power Trip and landed 20-something thousand damage. And the thing with Power Trip is that it's only 2 move gauge. 2 move gauge attack. Landing that much damage on opponents. You don't even have to have your opponents weak to dark types or electric types. Power Trip can deal massive damage if you know what you're doing. And yeah, she just is strong. And then there's Hostile Environment 5, which basically, if you use Thundershock, you have a very high % chance of paralyzing the opponent. If not 60%, 70% chance of paralyzing the opponent every time you use Thundershock. So Thundershock already has like a 10% chance. Hostile Environment 5 raises the chance by, I think, another 50%. So yeah, every time, just expect that most of the time you use Thundershock, the opponent gets paralyzed. And then Hangry Wild Charge, her sync move, if the opponent is paralyzed, you deal stronger damage. Now, Marnie has, in her sync grid, Marnie already has like super preparation 4 for Snack Time. So if you have, if you use Snack Time and you gave her super preparation 4, it already has a 50% chance of giving you that super effective plus next effect. But just in case this does not trigger, You can have Red give her super effective plus next, and Marnie is one of those sync pairs that can quite easily land 99999 damage on the opponent using a sync move, even with just Inertia and Static Shock 3. Static Shock 3 powers up the user's sync moves when the target is paralyzed. This is on top of her built-in Hungry Wild Charge boost when the opponent is paralyzed. So just by having Static Shock 3 and Inertia, you already have a nice chance of landing more than 60,000 damage on the opponent. Sometimes even reaching 70, 80, and 90 something thousand damage just by using sync move using Marnie, especially if you have her 6-star EX. With that super effective plus neck effect that you can grant to her either using Snack Time or using Red, it will be much easier to give or to hit the opponent using 99999 damage. Now again, Marnie is super powerful. I like to use Marnie not by hitting the opponent with a sync move, but by hitting the opponent using Power Trip. Again, Power Trip, only 2 move gauge, and it can just land devastating damage on the opponent just by attacking them. Just by attacking them, just by raising your stats, just by attacking the opponent, you get to deal a lot of damage. So think that about just wraps it for Marnie over here. Marnie starts on September 21, ends on October 4. So you don't have a lot of time to scout for Marnie, but it's gonna be worth it if you do not have a nice electric type sync pair. It's gonna be worth it. So with that said, I'm done with Marnie, and let's go back to the screen. Red comes out once again on September 16. Blue comes out on September 18. And Marnie comes out on September 21. Red and Blue is until September or October 29. So if you are hesitant, you know, I'll be doing a couple of feature videos, and you guys can probably decide from there if you're hesitant on scouting for them. You have a lot of time for Red and Blue. Marnie, on the other hand, I have already showcased her a lot of times. Probably I'll showcase her again for you guys, just in case you need a refresher or something. But we still have a couple of sync pairs. We still have the anniversary sync pairs, which are gonna go by the end of the month. We have Anniversary Lily, we have Anniversary N, we have Anniversary Steven. And who among these guys are worth it to scout? Now, if you have already tried to scout on any of the anniversary sync pairs, this is my honest opinion for you guys, and probably I'll beg you guys to do this. If you are above 300 scout points, if you have 300 scout points or above, you're so frustrated that you got shafted on any of these sync pairs, I highly suggest you guys to finish those scout points. Go reach 400 because, you know, you're there. You're there. Just like 3 more multiples or probably less than 3, and you got another or you finally got that copy of either Lily, N, or Steven, especially with their horrible 1% rates. Go for it. If you already had them at 3 out of 5 and you know, are also close to scout points, I would still go for the same unit. I know you don't need more than 3 copies of the Master Fairs, but take note that you can get the other sync pairs as you scout in the future. Even though you don't have them yet, for example, you don't have Sydney yet, I'd rather you go for the 1% than the 0. something% of Sydney, which will be obtainable in other banners as well. That's my personal opinion, guys. Feel free to do your own thing. But if I were you, I would rather just grab that frustratingly small, tiny 1% and just go for that sync pair. If you haven't scouted for any of them yet and are choosing just one, I would choose... Well, my biggest advice would be to choose whatever type you need. If you're lacking on ghost types, then go for Lily. If you're lacking on fire types, go for N. If you're lacking on flying types, I don't know, go for Steven. Let me just tell you guys that Steven was not buffed. Probably DNA thought that, oh, a lot of people scouted for for Steven anyway, so we don't need to exactly buff him. I mean, we did our job. We earned money. People scouted for Steven. That's it. That's the objective. Who cares about buffing him? Probably. Or, you know, we still have the end of the month. We can hope that they buff him. But right now, Steven does not have a buff. And this is not to say that Steven is horrible. His attacks, his normal attacks, Dragon Ascent, and his Dragon Ascent and his Draco Meteor actually does well. Very, very, very well, actually, with good form. His multiplier, which is like Marnie's built-in higher stats, higher damage. But his trainer move sucks. Or rather, his sync move sucks. And not just sucks, but sucks very, very, very badly. Even with super effective plus next. Which is really bad in my honest opinion. I've tried him out. I tried to make him give him as high stats as possible. We were able to land 9999 damage on the shiny Charmeleon, shiny Ivysaur, and shiny Wartortle, but that's about it. His sync move just sucks, does not deal damage at all. I heard some of you even less than 1000 damage on his sync moves, and that's kind of shake my head about that. Even with super effective plus next, guys. So, if you're scouting for Steven, take note that only his sync move sucks. His normal attacks are good. So if you need a flying type, if you need a good flying type, Steven is actually quite good for normal attacks. So that's my final verdict on Steven. N is an amazing unit, can debuff everyone, can lower the opponent's stats, can raise your speed. Lily, quite tanky. Probably if you were to ask me who's gonna be tankier, Lily or Red, I might say that it might be... Well, if Lily's not at full HP, it will be Red. But if Lily's at full HP, it's definitely Lily. And, you know, her sync move deals quite a lot of damage. She can maximize her stats, her special attack, her critical hit rate with just one single Shining Moonlight Trainer move. And Lily's very gamer friendly. If you're new to the game, Lily's very friendly. As for Red, mini potion all is a good thing. Take note you don't recover as much HP as potion. And probably his You and Me requires a little practice, especially for new players. You might need to know which is the proper time of using You and Me, and not just use it randomly. But Red is quite, especially if you are a veteran player, I think Red is a game changer. I think Red is a game changer. Blue, on the other hand, or Classic Blue, can land massive, massive, massive damage. His trainer move, Bonjour, will lower his defense and special defense. But if you actually decide to use Ancient Power and manage to increase your stats, you can actually buff those negative stats back to 0 or even higher and negate all the negative things that come with Bonjour. His attacks are quite good. 4 move gauge, 3 move gauge, 2 move gauge. And if you are able to get that free move next effect to happen, I think that's 30%, or was it 40%? I think it's 30%. A free move next. That's a good thing. You can use Hyper Beam. You can use Double Edge without spending any move gauge. And then there's Marnie, who, as I said, is just a strong attacker, very strong sync nuker as well. You can use her on electric type weaknesses. You can use her on dark type weaknesses. You can use her on any stage. Any stage. And with that said, those are my bird's eye verdict on these 6. And whoever you want to scout for, just go for it and don't regret whatever happens. Just, you know, spend wisely, choose properly, and whatever happens, be happy with the outcome. Let's move on to part 2, guys. And before we move on, by the way, I would like to remind you guys to, once again, if you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, make sure you hit the thumbs up right now, because that tiny little effort of clicking the thumbs up actually helps immensely with my channel. So I would appreciate it if you guys do that. Do that little thing for me. If you want to help out, share this video to some other people who need an analysis of these sync pairs. Go ahead, would appreciate that as well. And if you haven't subscribed yet, click on the subscribe button, because I do these videos like every single data mine. An analysis, it takes forever to do these videos. And, you know, it would mean everything to me if you guys would help me out. And again, if you guys want to help out even more, you can become a member of my channel, clicking on the join button, or sending me a super chat over there, or whatever, guys. Thank you for the generosity. When I was doing this yesterday, I don't know what happened. You guys were super generous and kind. I thank you guys so much. Once again, shout out to my members. Thank you, Shadowfield, Marcella, Roy, Ackerman, Lucamidi. Why am I jumping? Shadowfield, Marcella, Mordes Gaming, Nick, Armakose, Popwhat, Blaze, John9019, Popneo Gaming, Lucamidi, Armakose. That was so jumbled up. Anyway, I've updated your names up there. You guys keep changing names and it's so hard to remember them. Thank you to all my members. Thank you guys for your support. You guys have been generous, so generous. Moving on, part 2. An in-depth look at each one. So here we go, guys. With Classic Blue, as you can see over here, Blue has the highest special attack and speed out of these 4. Now, I compared it to other 6-star EX strikers. Yes, there is Kukui, but he is tech. I just compared this to strikers. So Blue has 427 special attack. Emmet does not use special attack. Olivia does not use special attack, so I grade them out. Emmet has the lowest attack stat, but he has a passive skill that raises his attack stat 50% if his HP is 50% or higher. Emmet has the lowest defenses. Olivia has the highest attack and defense stats, surprisingly, and special defense and defense highest for Olivia, which is very surprising for me. But at the same time, she has the lowest HP. And Raihan has the highest HP, probably because his attack, his Steel Beam does some recoil damage. But at the same time, you can remove recoil damage using recoil removal, which Blue also gets. And he also has like Standfast 9, I think, or something like that in his kit, which reduces recoil damage. Raihan also has the lowest special attack, but those are only 2 of them. And 400 is not exactly very far from 427. He has the lowest special defense and he has the lowest speed. Which is funny, because the game implies that Raihan was the fastest sync pair in the time trial event. And he has the lowest speed among the rock types here, which is funny. But then, you get a double stats in the time trial event anyway, so yeah. As I always say, it's not about the stats, but it's all about the multipliers. So here are the multipliers they get at 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, as well as built in. So as you can see over here, blue has critical strike 1 at 3 out of 5, double edge super effective or super duper effective 2, 2 out of 5, surging sand 1 at 3 out of 5. Sync moves, he gets critical strike 1 again at 3 out of 5, applies to both sync move and normal attacks. Haymaker at 3 out of 5. So if you actually look at this, you do not unlock his multipliers unless you get at least 2 copies of blue, which makes recommending blue quite difficult, especially if you are one of those players who just want 1 copy and that's it. It would probably be better to get Emmet instead if you just need 1 copy, because he has built-in healthy strength 5, hit the gas 5, and sand superiority 3. Healthy strength 5 once again, if you are at 50% HP or higher, your attack stat goes up 50%. Hit the gas 5 basically increases the amount of move gauge by 1 required for his moves, but increases the attack damage or base power of the move by 50%. And then there's Sand Superiority 3. If it's storming or sandstorming, your attacks get powered up. He has Healthy Healing, or Healthy Power Up 1 rather, not Healthy Healing, which if his HP is full, you get to land more damage. And there's Stone Edge Critical Strike 2, also unlockable at 3 out of 5 if you land a critical hit using Stone Edge, which has a higher chance of landing a critical hit. You get to deal more damage. Also at 3 out of 5, you get Sand Blaster 5, which powers up his sync move also. So again, built in to his kit, you just need 1 copy of Emmet and you already get the blue multipliers. So this makes summoning for Emmet or scouting for Emmet recommendable, because you do not need more than 1 copy. Olivia, on the other hand, is available in Sync Pair Scout. In any scouts, you can get Olivia. So probably if you've been playing for a while, you already have Olivia at 3 out of 5. She gets Surging Sand 3 if it's sandstorming. Your attacks get more powerful. She has Inertia at 2 out of 5. She gets Sand Blaster 5. It's sandstorming, stronger sync move damage. Also at 2 out of 5. And then once, you can use red. If you actually summon for red, give her the super effective mechs, she will be able to land even harder damage. And then there's Raihan, last but not the least. This guy is not a rock type, but he has a rock type move in the form of Rock Slide, so I decided to include him. He has super effective plus next, it's built into his trainer move. But once you use that, I think he also gets a Sync Grid tile at 3 out of 5. I think it's Superior Entry or something like that. That gives you a super effective plus next at the start of the battle if you decide to give that to him. But he has a built-in super effective plus next in his trainer move. And you can use it, you can have it on him just by getting 1 copy. And then there's Sand Blaster 5 at 3 out of 5 for the sync move multiplier. Surging Sand 3 and Tough Cookie at 3 out of 5 as well. But again, you need 3 copies of him to unlock those multipliers. So among these sync pairs, the easiest to recommend would probably be Emmet, because it's built into his grid. Olivia, I don't even have to recommend that to you guys, because you guys can get Olivia anywhere in your Sync Pair Scouts. But it's not that difficult to recommend blue as well, because if you don't care about multipliers, if you just want a hard hitter, he has Hyper Beam, which lands very strong damage. He has Double Edge with no recall damage. He gets a Mega Form. His stats are high. Yeah. But if you want the multipliers, you need at least 2 copies, or probably you need 3 copies of him in order to unlock his sync move multiplier, which I honestly believe that sync move multiplier makes a huge difference. Haymaker, 3 out of 5. You need 3 copies of him in order to get that. So, if you're willing to scout for 3 copies of blue, I mean, it's a Pokefair scout, it's 10% raids, he's gonna be limited, so if the blue classic Pokefair scout is gone, he will be gone as well. If you're willing to go 3 out of 5, highly recommend him. Especially you can get that free move next effect also. And then lots of other good things in his kit. But if you're only going to scout for 1 copy, if you're hesitant making Olivia 6-star EX or getting blue, my opinion, probably go for Olivia and just go for red and try to give Olivia the super effective move next or super effective plus next, and just be amazed at how much damage Olivia can do. Now, red was a little bit difficult. I did not know how to actually, who and what and how to actually compare red with. And it took me hours and hours to figure this out. Finally, I decided to compare him with all supports. All support units in the game, including Signasuit Leaf, but just Signasuit Leaf is not a support here. Now, I've listed a couple of things. I listed healing, attack, special attack, defense, special defense, speed, accuracy, critical hit rate, evasiveness, super effective plus next, gradual healing, sync move countdown, decrease, and the number of buffs and how many checks they got here in this list. Now, there are a couple more buffs that you can get. There's the move gauge acceleration. I did not include this. I did also not include any debuffing abilities that these sync pairs get. Basically, healing can either affect AoE, self, or another sync pair. So, for example, itself, that means an attack or a trainer move or a passive skill allows them to recover HP. Meanwhile, for attack, special attack, defense, special defense, speed, accuracy, it's not for themselves. This is for another sync pair. So if they're able to increase a buff for another sync pair, I put a check mark on that one. So, red over here has AoE healing with mini potion all. He can raise attack stat max, knuckle, as well as I think flag bearer. He can raise defenses. I think with the passive skill. If you're low on HP, you can if you go below 50% HP, you will raise everyone's defenses. Special defense, if you use a trainer move, you have a 50% chance of increasing your special defense. Critical hit rate up for any sync pair if you use you and me. Super effective plus next for you and me, and then you reduce the sync move countdown by 1. And then there are a total of 7 check marks over here. So number 7 on red. And then I listed this in ascending order. I included the 3 stars over here, but I did not include the egg ones. So Marlon can raise special defense, Marley can raise speed, and so on and so forth. I do not want to discuss these some of these sync pairs. I'm just gonna focus on some interesting sync pairs over here. For example, Torchic has potential, especially if he gets a sync grid. So main character in Torchic can raise everyone's attack, can raise everyone's special attack, can raise everyone's critical hit rate. I wish gets sync grid. Signasuit Leaf can recover using potion, has gradual healing using mega healing, and can reduce sync move countdown by using mega healing also. Morty, I think this is the BP Morty, by the way, guys. BP Morty has Synchro Healing 1. So if he uses a Sync move, he can heal everyone's HP. I think he also has a potion. His trainer move allows you to recover defense and allows you to increase defense and special defense. Misty can heal an ally using her trainer move, and then can increase special defense and can raise evasiveness. And then just analyze this screen. I will leave you for a couple of seconds to just look at the screen because there's just so many to talk about here. Lana is interesting, has this, I forgot the name. The chance catalytic cure which can recover self. Pierce, I think it's block and heal which can recover himself as well. Lana can raise attack stat and defense stat to +4 immediately at the start of the battle. Gradual healing as well. So yeah, these sync pairs, comparing them with red, so far these are the number of buffs is until 4. So just pause the video if you need a couple more minutes to analyze this. I'm going to move on to the next few sync pairs, which are these guys. Now, Holiday Erica has the highest number of buffs here, just because of Layup. Layup can recover everyone's HP 40%, and Layup, I think it's Shared Fortune or something like that, will raise either attack or special attack or defense or special defense or speed, but not all of them. Not all of them, guys. Just one random stat for the sync pairs who will be affected by Layup, which is everyone. So we'll raise randomly one stat: attack, special attack, defense, special defense, and speed. Not to mention Layup's MP refresh percentage is not too high. Not high. And evasiveness, by the way. Accuracy and evasiveness. And then there's gradual healing, X regen all. And I think she has Impatient 1, which will lower the sync move countdown randomly if you get hit. Springberg is also a very good defender. He gets to his happy colors, raises defense and special defense of everyone by randomly between 1 to 3 stat ranks. He also has Dare Hit All Plus. It also raises accuracy. I think he also has Impatient if you decide to give him Impatient 1 or Impatient something. Or rather, no, not Impatient. I think if you get to land a move using Metronome that the opponent is weak to, he gets to lower his sync move countdown if you decide to use that on him. Now, there's also one thing in his sync grid that allows you to recover everyone's HP if you are able to land an attack that the opponent is weak to. So I think he also gets a potion, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Signasuit Blue is still the defender, the best defender in the game. He has very high defenses and special defense. And he can raise everyone's defense to max if you get an MP refresh. If you attack the opponent, there's a chance to raise special defense of everyone using Force Field. I think Force Field 4 can reduce your sync move countdown, I think, with some means. And then raises everyone's critical hit rate using To the Top. And so on and so forth, guys. Holiday Rosa is my favorite for buffing sync pairs, especially Marnie or Bianca, because she can raise any stat or any of these attack, special attack, defense, special defense, speed, accuracy stat by random if you use her trainer move. And yeah, that's it. And red over there is at number 7, or rather has 7 again, which we have discussed. But actually, if you actually look at all these, there's one thing that makes Red stand out from every other sync pair or every other support in this list. And that thing is the super effective plus next. I have already emphasized this earlier. And this does not exactly mean that Red is a great defender, great support unit. I mean, he can raise stats, he can raise attack, he can raise defense, he can raise special defense, he can raise critical hit rate, but that's not what Red is about. He's about that super effective plus next, in my honest opinion, as well as probably the sync move countdown -1. Again, you can give this super effective plus next to any sync pair, any sync pair, probably just not normal type sync pairs, please don't, except, you know, Gladion. Speaking of Gladion, I think Gladion has the highest damaging sync move in the game. I think it's the highest base power, and he also has a couple of sync move multipliers in his kit. So just imagine you have a 6-star EX Gladion. He's a tech unit, so that means your sync move will hit 1.5 times harder if you have him 6-star EX. If you have, I think his sync move in multiplier involves double down, which basically powers up your sync move damage if the opponent is weak to that move, which basically should be, because your sync move will be converted to whatever type that the opponent is weak to. Just imagine giving him an additional super effective plus next. This will power up your sync move damage with all the multipliers already present in that sync move. It will add another 50% damage. And again, this does not apply to just Silvally and Gladion, but also apply to any other sync pair. Now, you cannot have Red and Signasuit Red together, so that's a shame. But now that we're having Mewtwo 6-star EX, imagine giving Mewtwo, pairing him up with Red, and giving him super effective plus next, opponent weak to Psychic type, giving him an additional 50% damage, hitting everyone, boom! Numbers. Strong damage. Now again, if you haven't heard me say this yet, I'm not into DPS or too much into numbers, but all I can say is this super effective plus next will give your sync pairs, other sync pairs, a chance to shine when they haven't shined before. In the words of the person who posted, I think it's Yodi Daddy, who posted this on Discord, this basically messes up the meta of Pokemon Masters EX. It makes the meta, it destroys the meta and makes the non-meta units, is it how it was said, a chance to overpower the meta units in the game. Someone who doesn't normally deal this amount of damage now can deal even more damage than the strongest attackers in the game. Archie has super effective plus next already, but probably, you know, Barry is a very strong sync nuker. Barry does not have super effective plus next. Give Barry super effective plus next, and I don't know how much more damage Barry will be able to do. Will he be able to hit harder than Archie? Maybe, maybe not. How about May? May with super effective plus next, maybe even hit harder. How about Ethan? 6-star EX. I don't exactly see a lot of people use Ethan, but probably with the arrival of Red and changing the game quite crazily, Elessa will be able to hit harder than N. Hilda might be able to hit harder than Leon. Gladion will be able to hit harder than most sync pairs. And that's it. That is the purpose of Red. And that is what makes Red really, really good. Again, this thing, this you and me, that makes this super effective plus next happen is available at 1 out of 5. You get an MP refresh on this precious, precious move at 1 out of 5. And you get another free MP refresh if you decide to use his max move, G-Max Replenish. So, you have a chance of using you and me at least 3 times in the game. In any match, at least 3 times. And you just have to know when to time your usage of you and me properly, and you should be able to destroy any stage of your choice with Red. Again, he probably will not be that great with defense. He probably will not be that great with buffing our sync pairs, our team's attack. Probably not special attack, it's not checked. Probably not that perfect with healing. I mean, he can heal everyone, but probably not that much of a purpose. But that super effective plus next would change the game massively, massively, massively. It's you and me. You and me, and not just I, not just me. It's you and me, making Red a perfect definition of a support sync pair. Perfect definition of a support. And with that said, we've come down to the last sync pair that we have, which I already elaborated this quite well. Marnie has the highest special attack and the speed, but that's because only Marnie uses special attack out of Elessa, N, and Volkner. And once again, Marnie already has that super effective plus next effect to him. If you have the multiplier active when you use if you are able to let that happen when you use the trainer move. But without it, if that doesn't trigger, you can actually use Red, give her that super effective plus next effect. Again, N is normally the electric type striker of choice. If you hear who's the strongest electric type striker, people's answer is normally N. But with Red, give that super effective plus next to Elessa, and Elessa will be able to most likely deal more damage than N. And that's about it. That's about it. That's about it for this video. And before anything else, again, these are my opinions. These are my just analysis, personal analysis on this. I tried my best to go as in-depth as possible. Let me know how I can improve in the next video. But I tried my best. But I want to leave you with one last thing, which is you don't have to listen to what I say. You don't have to listen to anything. What's important is, why is this here? Ignore that. What is important is whatever you want to scout, do it. Faves over meta. Choose your favorite sync pairs. You don't have to 6-star EX the latest sync pairs, the best sync pairs. Go for 6-star EX as well on your favorite outfits, favorite sync pairs. Favorites is better than what sync pairs are the best right now. Do what makes you happy. Scout for whatever makes you happy. And that's about it. That is my final verdict for you guys. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Again, Lily is until September 29. Same thing for N and Steven. We also have Red and Classic Blue, which is gonna last for more than 1 month. And we have Marnie until October, I think that's 4. I think that's October 4 over there. And once again, there are gonna be new sync pairs coming by the next month, new seasonals. If you guys are not gonna plan on scouting on anything, save up for the seasonals if you want. Because last year, Fall Hilbert came out, Fall Azarola came out, and Fall Hilbert until now is the only 6-star EX Dark type striker in the game. Only 6-star EX Dark type striker in the game until now. It's been a year, and there has not been a new one. There has not been one, not a new one, but there has not been one. There's Sydney, there's the Mask Royale, but they're not strikers, they're texting pairs. And if you want to hit everyone with a dark type move, you can only use, you know, Fall Hilbert. But I'd rather use, you know, before Sydney and Mask Royale came out, Marnie was actually my dark type of choice if I want to hit a single opponent. Because of, you know, Power Trip. Power Trip is an extremely strong dark type attack. If I want to hit everyone, it's Fall Hilbert for me. But if I want to hit a single opponent, Marnie is the way to go. And with that said, I wish you guys the best of luck with your scouts. Wish me luck as well as I scout for red later and blue or classic blue in the next few days. But that's it. That is how I end my analysis for everyone. Again, if you haven't done it yet, I'd appreciate it if you guys hit that thumbs up button right now. It's a simple thing, but it helps out immensely with my channel. Once again, thank you to all the members of my channel up there for supporting me all throughout these months. Pandemic has been hard. Stay safe, everyone. And once again, share this to as many people as you can who are interested in learning in depth what these sync pairs can do. And yeah, that's it. Subscribe if you haven't. Once we reach 10,000 subs, I'll be giving away stuff from the Pokemon Center, including this dad cap, or including this Pokemon Center cap from the Pokemon Center US. I love this cap. I did not order for this cap. I ordered another cap. They made a mistake. They gave me this one instead. I have a couple more they mistakenly sent to me, and I'll be giving one away once we reach 10k. So let's make it happen. Click on the subscribe button and let's get to 10k subs before the year ends. Thank you so much once again. This has been Sol, also known as SPL Gum, also known as Spatial Gum, also known as Grunt, your artist team's called Grunt. And I will see you in the next video. Rawr.